is someone very bright, talented young individual I've known for some time now.
Hey everyone, my name is Parviz Tuksanov. I'm 17, still in school.
16-year-olds out there with an 8.5.
He kind of advised me to take the exam twice. In my first attempt, I got 8, and then in my third one, last one, 8.5. I think that English taught me a lot, not just the language. It taught me a lot of stuff. Cause you asked me why not just 8? You were good to go with an 8.
For the record, guys, Mr. Parviz got SAT score of overall 1560. 1560.
Yes.
Yeah, the MRI scan on ChatGPT 4 and asking it to give him diagnosis. And it did that.
Recommend is to use it wisely. Everything is good, only in moderation.
So your recommendation is stay true to the basics. So basics never change.
When we had those family functions, I was always hoping that no one is gonna ask me a question, when we are sitting around the table. So yeah, I finally realized that no one cares actually. No one around you cares. How you walk, how you behave, how you talk. Because I might change it. People change, right? And their opinions change.
So you're a gym rat. So for those guys who don't know what a gym rat is,
someone who lives in the gym, literally.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing, guys. Remember this quote by Tom Platz, father of squatting.
Yeah,
he's also known as Quad Father. So
guys, whenever I get back to deadlifting, that memory comes in. Of course it does, if you take steroids. Just kidding.
No, kids. Kids out there watching, stay away from steroids, okay? And we're no professionals, okay? We don't know what we're talking about, okay? All right, we're live. Hey guys, hey everyone. Welcome back to the new episode of Astra Muse. And I'm your host, Muhammad Ali here. And today I got another very special guest in the house, and is someone very bright, talented young individual I've known for some time now, a former student, and currently working at Astra, proud member of this team, of our team. So, and the person I'm talking about here is Mr. Parviz.
Hey everyone, my name is Parviz Tuksanov. I'm 17, still in school. And I've been learning English and teaching English for a couple of years now.
All right. Thanks for coming on the show, Mr. Parviz.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And what do you say we start off this show today with a little bit of background about you? Now, can you tell our audience a little about how you got into learning English and how it all started? So whether it was a family push you got from your or a little bit of influence you had from your peers. So how did you get into learning English?
So it all basically started back in primary school. I was a fourth grader, and at that time I started getting 4s, not 5s, not straight A's at school and in English. And then I literally begged my mom to take me to English school so that I can learn English. I don't know why, but I used to be a straight A student, and when it started affecting my scores, I told my mom to take me to an English school, and then it all started there. I was studying English there, not that seriously at the beginning, but then I came to this magic school basically. And you two guys with Mr. Alisher inspired me. And then I've studied here for a year before taking the exam. And finally, after scoring an 8.5, I joined your team.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's so all this happening. How long did it take you to go from, fourth grade English to 8.5? Right.
So it took me 5 years.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't settle for anything less than 8.5.
Right. Can we talk? Can we take a step back and talk a little about the whole IELTS experience you had? Did you get 8.5 in your first attempt? And I want our audience, for the record, know that 8.5 you got it at the age of 15, right?
No, I was 16 at
16.
that time.
But anyway, that's mind blowing, right? I don't see many 16-year-olds out there with an 8.5.
Yeah.
Right. That's an impressive feat at such a young age.
It was not the first attempt though. My first attempt, I got 8, then again 8, and in my third attempt, I got 8.5. So I got my first 8, I think, in 2022 March, and then I still like continued studying English. Like when I came back after an 8, like Alicia teacher was like crazy, like what are you doing here? Why? And he actually refused to teach me because he thought that I would slack, and I did sometimes. So basically, I persuaded him that I'm not gonna slack and continued my studies with my own group for like 6 more months. And we did this experiment, experiment before my last exam. He kind of advised me to take the exam twice, back to back, like in 3 days, in a week actually. And he told me not to tell it to you because he kind of guessed your like reaction. He thought that you would say like, that's a waste of money. That's like a crazy thing. And then you got to know it anyway before my exam. So, but that experiment worked out because in my first attempt, like I got 8, and then in my third one, last one, 8.5. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't exactly have any objections. I just thought it'd be a waste of time and, like you said, money going for your third attempt.
Yeah.
Because overall score of 8 actually gets you into a lot of decent schools, right? Universities.
Yeah, exactly.
So
they don't require.
I just didn't see any point to retaking the test and upgrading it to 8.5 unless you had the intention of, taking up teaching.
Yeah, well, at that time, I wasn't thinking about teaching English specifically, but as I said, I've been studying English for 5 years, and settling for anything less than 8.5 wouldn't be the right thing for me.
Right. Now, what did this experience of learning English and being in the IELTS world for a few years, teach you? What did you learn? What are some useful insights you gained along the way?
It actually transformed me entirely. Yeah, like it's not exaggeration because when I now like take a look at my peers, see what they are doing and what I am doing, I think that English taught me a lot. Not just the language. It taught me like a lot of stuff because with IELTS specifically, you get to read a lot. You get to read a lot of reading passages. So you'll be basically learning about the world, right? Like some passages are about business there, some are about psychology. So they basically taught me a lot of stuff about the worldly things, and it caused a shift in my perspective. Yeah,
I see. So what you're saying is learning English is not just about learning another language or enhancing your future prospects, career or academic prospects, but also
a new personality, basically. Yeah, you'll develop a new personality, basically.
And seeing your worldview change radically.
So English helped me a lot.
Yeah, I actually see this happen a lot with students who, at the start of their journey, they are kind of a naive and shallow-minded individual. And now as they progress over the program, like you see their personality and their worldview change, and they start, setting themselves bigger goals and ambitions because now they see the world from a different perspective, a new light. So they better understand the world. Yeah. And they realize they have now all access to information.
And I also think that it's like due to the structure of the IELTS test itself, like it's not only about learning the language, but you get to write essays, you get to speak about like different topics, global warming, business, work, like student life. So to speak and write about these stuff, you should basically first inform yourself by reading, listening. So all those basically pieces of information you are absorbing, I think, change you.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that it's so sad all these really important concepts really don't get taught at schools here, right?
Yeah, but basically students, I think, don't get it serious at school, but here, like, they are coming here, they are taking the test. You know, this like IELTS is a hype now.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone wants a high score. Like you asked me, why not just 8? Like you were good to go with an 8 because it was a hype. Like everyone is getting an 8. Why not to basically get an 8.5 and stand out? So
Yeah.
I think the same mindset there for everyone, and therefore here they strive for this high score basically, and then they study for it.
Yeah. But the point I was really trying to make was, there is a lot to IELTS, right? It's not just about standing out from your peers, but, seeing your worldview, your perspective change.
Yeah.
And getting access to decent education, better education, not here, not necessarily here, but abroad, other countries. So yeah, there is a lot to IELTS than just picking up another language.
It opens a lot of opportunities. Like
Yeah.
once you take IELTS, there are a lot of crazy things you can do. Like
what kind of crazy things you're talking about?
Just the exaggeration. Like you can study abroad, like you said. Like if you don't know English, how do you study abroad? Like mostly students are thinking about studying in the UK, US, Australia, or some other English-speaking countries in Europe. So if you don't know English, those doors are closed for you.
Yeah, that is a fact. Right. And what do you say now we move on to a different topic? And so you not only did an incredible job with the IELTS test, but also nailed your SAT exam, which is something I want to dive into a little here. So for the record, guys, Mr. Parviz got SAT score of overall 1560.
Yes.
Yeah, that's 1,560. And that puts him in 99 percentile.
99 plus.
Yeah, which is mind-blowing. I mean, there are a lot of teenagers and some, adults dreaming of getting SAT 1560, right? So,
and it was the first attempt. Old bragging.
And what's even more surprising is that you made it happen in your first attempt.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure our audience is curious to know how you managed to pull that off. So how do you become really good at SAT? Like, what are some secrets you got to SAT?
Before that, I wanted to talk about inspiration behind it. It all started in that basically room at night when we were having a speaking interview with you. Back at that time, I was your like IELTS student, speaking class. Like no one was there. Like I was the last student you were interviewing, and you started talking about my future goals. And like everyone else, I had average goals, like getting my IELTS, studying a little bit math, and going to one of these schools in Tashkent. And then you started talking about Ivy schools, you started talking about US, all those opportunities and ambitious goals. So you kind of inspired me to set the bar high. And then once I got home, I started researching like what I should do to go to US, to go to a US school. And then I learned about this test, SAT. To basically get the scholarship, I have to study SAT. And then I started studying SAT. For the most of the part, I did self-study. And basically what helped me, I think, a pretty decent level of English. This is the biggest mistake most students do. They don't have this decent level of English and they start SAT, then they start struggling because the level of SAT test, especially English part, is much more higher and much more difficult than IELTS passages, and therefore they have to have a decent level of English, like with at least I guess 7.5 puts them in a good state. So then after that, I started using all those authentic books available online written by Erica Meltzer, Panda basically. And yeah, with math, I took a little bit of basically traditional math here. It was taught by one of the teachers in the town, and then I started self-studying it. With math, where I feel is SAT math is slightly easier than basically math program in Uzbekistan. So US math program is easier than here in Uzbekistan, because for SAT you need like 9th grade math at least, but with basically English level it's pretty difficult. So I mostly spent my time doing English tests there, reading, writing. So yeah, I just basically did all those authentic books and followed some of the common basically SAT channels on YouTube, on other social media platforms. And also I think it's all about discipline, because you should stick to it. Like, you're doing it today and forgetting about it for a couple of weeks, that doesn't work. You should be doing it every day. Like, you don't see the change every day, but still you should be doing it every day, and you see a change after a bit longer period of time. So yeah, dedication, I think.
So it's those incremental changes that add up and get you that big breakthrough at the end.
Those invisible basically changes will add up into this great basically transformation at the end.
I see. Right. Can you follow up on one of the points you made about learning tools? Like, I'm sure there are people out there, a lot of students who choose to self-study SAT. And what are some, reliable platforms out there students can use at their convenience?
So first of all, is of course College Board. College Board is like the platform that administers the SAT, and they got some official tests. Like, for traditional SAT, I guess it's 10. But for the new digital SAT, it's only 4, unfortunately. They got only 4 Blue Book tests. Like, Blue Book is the platform where you take the exam. And apart from that, they got some individual questions. They are available on their website, like College Board website. You just type SAT, and they give you all the information about the SAT with those questions. So they basically got the question bank and practice tests. But also, apart from that, you can use basically the channel called Strategic Test Prep on YouTube, and also the platform called Preply. It got some additional questions. Even though they are not as decent as College Board questions, they resemble the test.
Right. So what if a student wants to, say, take the path of a lone learner, lone wolf? Like, if they want to study entirely all by themselves and they're not getting any outside help. So how do they go about some of the difficult questions they come across in the process of preparation? So are there any online platforms or maybe AI tools where you can have answers to difficult questions?
So personally, I don't know about any like specific AI tools that can like answer SAT questions, but I think ChatGPT works too. Sometimes I try ChatGPT, like pasting the question and the passage, and with digital SAT, it's even easier because passages are shorter, like a couple of sentences. So it's easier for ChatGPT to keep the track of it. So you just paste the whole test, the passage, the questions, and sometimes it explains it at a pretty decent level. But sometimes it's like still may make some mistakes in explanations.
Right.
So yeah, you can rely on AI, but not fully.
Not entirely, I see.
Yeah.
So with the English part, you can simply copy and paste the passage and the questions and ask ChatGPT to explain it to you, and it does that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's as simple as copying and pasting it.
But also, there are like groups on Telegram where students who are studying SAT, specifically self-studying, can ask each other questions. Like, if you don't get the question, you post it, and whenever I see it, for example, I can answer it if I can. Like, I can text it or send a voice message explaining my option.
So basically, there is an online chat forum on Telegram where like-minded people can meet up and exchange questions and get some help. Yeah, right?
Several actually, not
and
one.
It's complimentary, completely
of course,
free
it's
of
free.
charge.
Like there was this only one basically group chat when I was a student, was like SAT Tashkent, but I myself actually launched a new chat like SAT Bukhara. So,
really?
Yeah, so it's basically
that's cool, then.
for everyone, not only for students living in Bukhara, for everyone totally.
Right.
That doesn't matter. You're from Tashkent, from Andijan, from abroad, maybe. Doesn't matter.
It's at SAT _Bukhara or no underscore.
Like we'll share the link.
Sure. Yeah. We'll leave the link down below.
Yeah.
In the description box. I see. But how about the math questions? Like, I don't think you can exactly copy and paste the math question and ask ChatGPT to solve it for you. Or can you?
Sometimes you can actually, but you cannot like copy paste it, I think you should basically hand text it. Because when you copy paste it, there are some basically letters that ChatGPT doesn't get, so you should specifically ask the question and also elaborate on that a bit, like you yourself, because the questions are too short and ChatGPT might be confused. Yeah, like sounds awkward, right? AI getting confused, but still, like it might get you wrong. So you should elaborate on the question.
It's completely common, actually, completely normal.
Yeah.
Like sometimes we just don't know how to ask questions properly. It's not
Yeah,
ChatGPT's
yeah.
fault, really. Yeah. And how about the newer model of ChatGPT? I heard ChatGPT version 4, you can copy and paste an image and ask it to, solve a problem. Can it do that?
Probably you can. Like I've never used that version, so I was always using the ChatGPT 3.5 when I was a student, because that was the latest one, I think, at that time.
Because what's crazy is the other day when I was scrolling on social media, I saw a dude basically dropping his MRI scan on ChatGPT 4 and asking it to give him diagnosis, and it did that. And it did that, and I was taken aback.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you don't need a doctor anymore.
Actually, that's scary, man.
Yeah.
They're replacing us.
Yeah, us, the doctors, and pretty much everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. All right. So yeah, I mean, I feel like it sounds like with IELTS and SAT, now that there are all these learning platforms and impressive AI tools like ChatGPT, you can pretty much figure everything out on your own. So does that mean students they don't really have to go looking for teachers anymore?
No. I mean, of course, it depends on a student, their personality, their individuality, but still, I guess, no for most of the students, because students usually need like slightly bit more inspiration at times. They need the structure, they need the guidelines, because like I said, even with ChatGPT, like sometimes it makes mistakes, and sometimes when you share the questions on those basically chatting platforms, students sometimes do not answer your question. If it's like really difficult, no one can answer it, or even if they can, you might not get their explanation. But with a teacher, they ensure that you are getting it. So they will try.
There's that constant feedback loop.
Yep.
Right. You ask a question, and if it's not clear, you ask for further clarification.
Yeah.
And based on your questions, the teacher will try changing his feedback. Right.
Yeah. And sometimes with students who are self-studying, like if they get it right, like they might get it right without understanding it sometimes, because like, just you guess it and you're getting it right. They are too lazy to analyze that question. Yeah. And there are like a lot of questions that they get right, but they do not understand it truly. With a teacher, they get to explain it to their teacher. And that part, when you explain it to someone, like not only teacher, but the audience, like your group mates, that actually improves your comprehension as well. Like, paradoxically, by basically explaining, you yourself understand better.
Yeah. So, it's also, I feel like, reassuring to be in a group environment and getting that feedback from your group mates, from your peers.
Yeah. That's right. Also one of the benefits of having a teacher. You will have the group, and you will have basically like-minded people around you, and that helps the right atmosphere. Yeah.
It's like humans, we're these social creatures, and we constantly seek kind of confirmation. And for that reason, I feel like people still have reservations about AI and ChatGPT. Like Alicia, the other time I was hosting the show, he came on the show, and then we got into a little squabble over ChatGPT, and he was basically making the point that it's not reliable, and that students shouldn't count on ChatGPT. They should get help from a teacher. And I was on the other side of the fence, and basically making the point that it's a impressive learning tool, and you get this amazing tutor with Band 9.
I mean,
a bunch of Band 9s, ChatGPT, helping you 24/7, right?
So
and
never
tires.
I mean,
right?
Time to
But
face the truth.
yeah, but anyway, like I was saying, it's really reassuring when you have people around you telling you that it's the right thing to do and it's okay. And I feel like we need that confirmation
Yeah.
every now and then. We can't always rely on technology to get us through.
And it also kind of makes you feel confident.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're self-studying, you don't know whether it's the right time to take the test, because like there is no comparison. Like
Right.
at school, you can compare yourself with your peers, and you see whether you are doing better than them. And if you're doing, you get more confident, and that confidence basically turns into a higher performance. But when you are alone at home self-studying, basically there is no confidence. Like you cannot be as confident as you are at school. And also there is the teacher telling you whether you are basically prepared for the test, whether it's the right time to take it, or you should study a bit more. So there are some benefits. Yeah.
Right. So you just get a good idea of where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So-
also like I said, discipline and dedication. Like at home, most of us slack. Like if we don't have this push, a lot of people slack. But
Yeah.
at school, you got the teacher, you got the assignment, you got the deadline, you have to commit to it.
It's, as a teenager, I'd assume it's and not assume, but actually know from personal experience how hard it is to muster up that willpower to get yourself out of the bed every morning.
Yeah.
Especially if you got classes scheduled early in the day, and then work day in and day out, right? Stay grounded. It's no joke.
And it's more difficult nowadays with social media, all those addictions. Like, I mean, it's crazy. They use their phones for 8-9 hours, the screen time. That's crazy. It means that like the third part of like how to say 8 hours of their day is spent on basically social media, and that's it. This means that you don't have the half of the day. If you sleep for 8 hours, so you got 16 hours, and 8 hours are going in vain.
Oh yeah. Which is something I'd love to talk about, but I kind of already went over this topic with Alicia on the other podcast.
Yeah.
And I feel like our audience probably doesn't like being told to get off social media either.
Yeah.
Because it's like social media has become our kind of mental crutch, like something we rely on, and it's sort of an escape from all the trouble and the problems we got in the real world, right? We want that escape every now and then to be able to enter this fantasy world where people are happy, or a world of entertainment.
Yeah,
so
of course.
Get that dopamine hit.
Of course, like no one's saying like get rid of social media, and if we're gonna say it, no one is gonna follow it. So, but what I recommend is to use it wisely. Everything is good, only in moderation.
Right. So now I want to touch on another related topic, which is discriminating information. So you see, earlier you brought up a lot of useful learning tools and websites and a bunch of textbooks out there. And I feel like a student who just got into SAT probably feels drowned. Like they feel like drowning in this massive ocean of information. Like, so how do you say they navigate their way through? How do you say they discriminate information online?
So basically, a lot of online platforms, channels teach the same thing, but to get it, you should first, like I said, master the basics, like in English, like in IELTS. If you master the basics, then those channels, those online platforms help you. But if you straightly start doing practice tests, learn all those tips, tricks, I know what they are talking about, like tricks, so that's not gonna work out. So you should first improve your basics. How do you improve your basics? That's simple. Like basics are reading comprehension, grammar. How do you do it? For reading comprehension, you read a book. So you read a novel. You pick a novel, because with SAT, it's old English. And for that you have to be reading a lot of old literature. So you read that literature, you will keep a list of vocabulary words, because some of the words that they use in SAT we don't use in casual conversations anymore. A lot of people forgot those words. So yeah, with grammar, there are a lot of platforms out there just teaching standard English conventions. So yeah, and then after that you can move forward to those basically tips, tricks. So yeah.
So your recommendation is stay true to the basics. The basics never change. Get the basics
of course,
right.
yeah.
Right. And as a teacher who's been, guiding people, helping them learn English, I would for sure give the same advice. For sure would give the same piece of advice. So if you're someone who wants to say, take up English, or any language for that matter, you would want to get really good at the basics like grammar, pronunciation, and learn a bunch of vocabulary, right, before you can piece them together and start producing language. Yeah, that's a really useful piece of advice, right? And are there any other lessons you learned along the way? So, like, I want you to kind of reflect on your past, like where it all started, like say like 3 years ago, the kind of person you were back then and the kind of individual you're now. And so what kind of like shifts you see happen?
So number one,
in your worldview and in your attitude, in your outlook on life, or like everything. So how's Parviz now different from Parviz back then?
So number one thing, I guess, confidence. So I got a lot more confident in the past. Like I was shy of everything and everyone. I couldn't even speak in front of a couple of people, even my parents, let alone strangers. My parents, like my parents, my brothers, when we had those family functions, I was always like hoping that no one is gonna ask me a question, like when we are sitting around the table. So yeah, but now I'm a lot more confident, therefore you see me here in the podcast.
Oh yeah. It's no easy task. This is no joke. This is really no walk in the park. Speaking on tape, right?
Yeah.
And building that much confidence. So I guess it mostly comes from all the wins you accumulate over the years. First smashing your IELTS, and then your SAT exam, and then getting confidence, teaching other people, right? And also having your own online platform where you are helping many more people out there. So,
yeah, of course. Like all those achievements played, I guess, an important role in developing that confidence. But also, I think it's all about the process as well. Like with IELTS specifically, you have speaking classes. Like by definition in speaking classes, you gotta speak. Like you don't say, teacher, I'm shy, or you can't get all other students out of the room and speak one on one. So all those students are listening to you. So it's not only your teacher but your group mates. So all those basically classes add up, and then you get confidence. So yeah.
So you basically are compelled, you're pushed to power through your insecurities and all the anxiety and the worries you have.
Yeah, you basically start accepting your insecurities as your own part. So it's not something that you should avoid. So you accept it, and then the world around you accepts it.
So the biggest change in your personality has been confidence boost.
Yeah.
So to get that confidence boost, you basically have to do lots of work and lots of failures and lots of wins. Basically get experience doing things, not stay home, but set big goals and work towards them, right? Don't be afraid of failure and all those things, right? Yeah.
And the next thing I saying, maturity. So I start, and it's also tied to confidence, I think, because I finally realized that no one cares actually. No one around you cares. Like how you walk, how you behave, how you talk. Everyone is basically preoccupied with their own thoughts, with their own life, and you don't have to be perfect. Yeah, that's one of the things that I learned, which is called maturity. Like, you are not the center of the universe. You are not the person everyone in this world thinking about.
Yeah, I could not agree more. Like when we're young, we think that we're in a movie and that we're some kind of a main character, when in reality, we're not that special.
Yeah.
And in psychology, actually, there's a term called spotlight effect. It basically goes, we think that we're being constantly watched by everyone and that we have to be perfect, right? There's no room for slacking. There's no room for imperfections, right? But we just don't realize that we're all, after all, humans.
Yeah,
right?
mistakes are okay. Like,
Yeah.
we make mistakes.
Yeah, but what's not okay is to let those mistakes define us.
Yeah, that's
What's not okay is to let those mistakes get the better of us. And it's only those people who muster up the courage and keep going with full enthusiasm, mistake after mistake, are destined to become successful after all.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, if you don't want to make mistakes, you shouldn't try. Because once you start doing it, once you start basically working, put in a lot of work, you will be making mistakes. And a lot of successful people made a lot of mistakes, way more mistakes than average person does, because they tried more. So mistakes are unavoidable. Like, we do make mistakes, but we shouldn't be basically demotivated by those mistakes, but take them as lessons and overcome them, work on our weaknesses. So mistakes actually tell us our weaknesses, our weak points, and by analyzing them, we can overcome them.
Yeah, really good point. Yeah. So now, what do you say we move on to the next chapter of our podcast, where we talk about how to pick the right university? Because I know you've lately been doing a lot of reading and research and networking with people and like-minded people and people abroad. I'm guessing you got some connections, so different people you're talking to. So what are some useful lessons you learned as far as picking the right university goes? So how do you suggest people out there, teenagers, people your age, who want to go abroad and build their future there, make the right call in terms of their university?
Yeah, but let me first start with mistakes they make, because they are pretty popular. A lot of students, you guys, when basically choosing a university, you pay attention to the ranking. Like, if the university is top rank, they are going for it. But ranking is something that shows their general performance. Like, top 1 university doesn't necessarily mean it's top 1 for you. Like, somewhere they are top 100 might mean top 1 for you, and top 1 might mean top 1,000 for you. So number one, do not like get ranking seriously. So another thing is their acceptance rate. A lot of students are basically disappointed by those crazy like acceptance rates. 3.1, meaning that out of 100 only 3 students get in, 3 applicants get in. But those basically rates are not for everyone. For majority of people who are applying, let's say, to Harvard, their chance is 0. But for those who really deserve it, their chance is like 80 to 100. It's like almost 100% they are getting in. So most students look at the acceptance rates and they say, well, I can't get in, and then they do not even apply. But with majority of students who are really basically preparing for the admission, their chance is pretty high. It's just Harvard is very popular and a lot of people apply to it even without preparation, and therefore they got all those lower basically acceptance rates. So number 2, do not basically think much about the acceptance rates there. Now, so things that you should really consider is, now we live like in the world of information. There are a lot of sources of information that you can get about the university. Number 1 is right fit. Are you a right fit for that university? And is that university a right fit for you? How do you get to know about it? So you basically go to their website, go to the college website, and there is the part. With every single university, there is the part called student life. You go to the student life, there are a bunch of the basically newspapers run by students, organizations they are run by students, community clubs, and basically students' descriptions of the university. So it's normal professors, basically deans talking about the school. It's students, it's customers, like in business language, it's customers talking about the product. So you get to know about the university by listening to the students' opinions, by reading the newspapers, basically updates there about the university. So you see if that university really meets your needs, and do you imagine yourself actually in that university? Because if you make a mistake, you basically lose 4 years, right? You are living there, you are studying there for 4 years, and when you are picking like a foreign university, you will not only be studying, you will be living there. You will be in that atmosphere, in that community for 4 years. So you should be doing your homework, you're doing your research, pretty thorough research. So yeah.
Or even better, try getting in touch with some other students studying there.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. That's actually an opportunity that most people didn't have in the past. But nowadays, there are a lot of Uzbek students in pretty decent schools, like abroad. So you can get in touch with them. Some of them are actually offering their online, basically, courses, marathons about university admission. So you can, reach out to them and talk about the university experience they have there. So yeah, a lot of sources. Number one is like I said, college website. The other, basically, college alumni, college students they are studying. So yeah.
So, and how about scholarship opportunities? Because I'm sure a lot of students out there want to get their tuition paid for by the university, right?
So
or state-funded scholarship, right? I had my brother on the podcast, on the first episode of the podcast, and he talked about basically a state-funded project called UMID, and basically you get a full ride scholarship to a university of your choice as long as it's in top 100 or top 200.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure. So what are some scholarship opportunities students can explore if they have their SAT and IELTS figured, and if they got all their extracurriculars done?
It boils down to the type of the university they are applying. There are actually 3 types of the universities. Number one is need blind, meaning that they don't care about the amount of money you are asking, the amount of basically money you can contribute, and the amount you want them to cover. And there are need-aware universities, so they take into consideration your contribution. And there are basically need-after universities, meaning that, so with need blind, you basically just apply there, and they don't care about the amount of money you earn, the amount of money your parents earn. And scholarships, most of the scholarships they apply, most of the scholarships they offer are financial aid. So it's not merit-based scholarship, it's just financial aid. You get in and you are getting the 100% scholarship, because those universities are pretty highly ranked, and most of the students who are applying to those universities are already pretty talented. So separately offering merit-based scholarships wouldn't make sense for them, because everyone deserves a merit-based scholarship there. So you get in, you get the scholarship with need-blind universities. With need-aware, it's slightly different. They take into account your application, your case, like your SAT score, your stats, but also they also take into account the amount of money you can pay. And those are not as highly ranked as need-blind universities. So here, your basically financial situation also matters. And with need-aware, they got merit-based scholarships. For merit-based scholarships, you have to apply separately. After applying for the university, you at the same time apply for a scholarship. Like each university got their own university-specific scholarships. There are also like state-specific scholarships. Let's say if your university is based in New York, there are New York-specific scholarships. So yeah, and then there are also major specific scholarships. If you're studying psychology, there are psychology scholarships, economics scholarships, like medicine, medical scholarships there. So yeah, and with need-after scholarships, there are no need-after universities, there are no scholarships. you get in, you have to pay. So yeah.
All right, so I'm a little confused here, guys, because that's a lot of information, right?
Yeah.
So can we break down all these into first general and broad categories, right? So you got need blind scholarships.
Yes.
Is that what you called it?
Need blind universities.
So blind as in BLIND.
Yeah, blind.
Need blind.
Yes. They don't care about your need. They don't care about the amount of money you are asking. They are good to give it.
Okay, so one broad category is need blind.
Yes.
And second category of universities.
Need aware.
How do you spell that? Neither.
Need aware.
Need aware. I
Yes.
see. Need aware. So they're aware of your needs.
Yeah,
So-
they take into account the amount of money you can contribute, your financial situation, and there is the third category, need after.
Got it.
So for them, you getting it, you getting in. So their basically acceptance rate is 90, 95. So almost all the students who apply there, they get in, but they have to pay for it, for their education there.
Got it. So
And for international students, for basically us, the only option is need blind. So you are applying to a need blind university and you are getting financial aid. In some cases, need aware universities might work, but I don't think that there are students who are willing to pay 60, 70K per year in Uzbekistan, right? So you don't have to apply to need after universities.
yeah, that's a lot of money, especially for students who come from low to mid-income families, right? Yeah, I see. So where do you suggest people out there can look up all this information if they want to, review it at their convenience? Because we went over this so fast, and I'm still kind of processing all this information.
So again, college websites, you go
so
to
when
the...
you say college website, you mean collegeboard.com?
No, I mean, each university got their own website. You go there, you go to the admissions section, and there is the financial aid section, and they will basically tell everything about their financial policies. Like what kind of scholarships they offer, is it need aware, need blind, and how it all basically works. So it is very specific to each university.
Got it. So anyway, they gotta do their homework.
Yeah, they gotta research it. Like the most of the part, you are not basically writing basically essays or supplementals, but you're doing your research. So it's like if you spend an hour writing, you have to spend 10 hours researching it. Then you can write a pretty decent supplemental essay or whatever it is, well informed of the university you are applying.
I mean, so it turns out exploring your options itself is going to be a lot of work.
Yeah,
right?
like it takes a couple of months.
So, and I'm wondering if there are some agencies out there who help you out with all the research and digging you're supposed to do before you, finally apply for your dream university, like the dream university that meets your requirements, the university that you would fit in.
There are some online platforms, some online schools like Freshman. Like I used Freshman services. There was they offer a couple of programs like Advanced English, SAT Math, like admissions program, and I bought their actual admissions program, 3 months long program. When they just go through the course, just go through the process, how admissions works, U.S. admission works. So I just took that course, but for the most part, you have to do your own homework again. You have to do the research. They just tell you how to do it, but you should do it yourself. No one does it for you. You should do the research. You should see whether you fit the university you are applying, because after all, it's you who will go and study there, not they.
Yeah, so anyway, I feel like students out there who are young and who don't know much about the university admission processes, especially abroad, do need some outside help to figure things out, right? To have this nice structure, guidelines to follow. Yeah, just to get to know, to get familiar with the foreign education system itself, which is quite different from education system we have here and the admission process. Because with Uzbek universities here, it's as simple as submitting your documents and then showing up to a venue, do a test, and wait for your results.
And
It's as simple as that.
yeah,
Right?
and
You don't have to go through all this hassle of
Yeah.
doing your research and your extracurriculars, getting your SATs, and then they're taking a bunch of courses to get to know the admission process.
Yeah.
It's not that complicated. That's
but
what I
with
mean.
like Uzbek admissions, it's just one day
Uh-huh.
like decides everything. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But with basically US and UK admissions, it's like the entire period, the entire process, your essays, your work. With like Uzbekistan, you just do the test there on a day, and if you failed it, you failed it. That's it. But there you have to write all the essays, everything. So I guess like, yeah, it's a bit more complicated after all. Yeah.
But some people actually prefer admission system here in Uzbekistan because it's pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean,
it's
people are different.
hassle free, right? Now, let's take a break from university admission and scholarship opportunities and all that, and talk a little about your future studies. So
My plans, right?
Yeah, your plans. Like, have you made up your mind on what major you're going to be doing, you're going to be pursuing abroad?
So it's economics and psychology for now, because I might change it. Like, people change, right? And their opinions change. So actually, there is a very high rate of students who are studying abroad who change their major. Like, after a year of studying there, they decide to change it. And there is also one more thing, like you can actually study there without picking a major. Yeah.
You mean the entire 4 years?
Entire 4 years, you don't pick a major. You build your own curriculum.
Uh-huh.
You decide which classes, whose classes, and what subjects to study there.
But that's
It's
so
called
cool.
free curriculum, yeah.
You can basically customize the entire curriculum
yeah,
to suit your
on
own
your own.
needs.
Yeah.
That's
'Cause
that's
usually-
something I don't see happening anytime soon here.
Yeah. Usually, most universities offer those rigid programs that cannot be changed for like millions of students, right? But millions of students got millions of different needs, and one program cannot, I guess, meet all of their needs. So they basically customize their own program themselves. So yeah, with me, it's economics and psychology for now. And yeah, I just picked those because after graduating, I guess I will be working in the line of in the business sphere. So I think that I need economics to basically deeply understand the business. I was actually thinking about business management, but then when I talked about it with some experienced people, they told me like studying business for 4 years, it just
Not worth it.
Yeah, it's not worth it, because businesses, like, they just laughed and said business is about making money. People are making money without graduating school. Like, you don't have to study 4 years just to learn how to make money. Instead, like, study something deeper.
But I beg to differ here, because like when you sign up for a business course, you get taught a lot of useful things about how to actually run a business, including how to do your little bit of accounting and a little bit of administrative work. And you get taught how to set up your different departments like HR. Like you just get introduced to all these different business related concepts that you would otherwise not learn.
But do you think that it takes 4 years? That's the thing.
I mean, it really, the entire program differs from university to university. But anyway, when you pick business as your major, you do get taught a lot of useful modules, basically subjects on how to set up a business and how to scale it and how to price your product and how to outsource, all these different useful concepts related to business. And at the same time, I feel economics is a little theoretical, because I did get taught. My major at university was economics.
Well, one more thing is, foreign universities, like most of them do not offer basically business majors for bachelors. It's like for masters. You get to go to business schools for masters, and they kind of sometimes recommend you to basically launch your own enterprise before studying business masters there, so that you can just learn the tools there and straightly apply it. So for that matter, they just recommend you to basically study something else, something related, like you said, accounting. They might get the major of accounting there in bachelor's degree, and then study business for masters, if they really need it, of course. So yeah, and with psychology, I think I'm a person like who wants to work with people. Like my career, I'm not actually well decided about my career yet, but it should be with people. It should be based on communication with people. I don't feel like I can spend like 8 hours working in front of a computer. That's boring for me. So for that matter, I have to be basically good at communication, good at communicating with people, and therefore I'm like wanna minor in psychology, so that I really understand human emotions, the ways you have to talk with them, so that you basically not only talk to their mind but talk to their heart.
Okay.
Yeah, talk to their emotions basically.
Right. But I'm guessing it's not as easy as just reading a textbook. You would have to get a lot of hands-on experience.
Yeah, and that's what they offer there. You can do like field work there, field research. You go out, set up your own research. You go out, do your internships there. So a lot of things. Not only in the classroom. Some of the schools actually offer basically trips. Like city trips. If they are based in a major city, they offer city trips. You go to basically certain locations like enterprises, and you see how people are working, like how university graduates are working. So you get that hands-on experience. It's all about it. You cover the theory, a class, and then you go out and see how it works in practice.
I mean, all this sounds really exciting to me.
Yeah.
I feel like I right now really wish I could be you, a student again, and go back in time and do this all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited for you and your future. Now, so what do you say we now touch on a few personal topics?
Yeah, sure.
I know that you're a gym rat. So
Yeah.
for those guys who don't know what a gym rat is,
Someone who lives in the gym, literally.
yeah, you like lifting weights, you like working out. So can you tell us a little about your exercise routine? And first off, why don't you tell us how long you've been doing this for and who got you into training?
So
And
I've been working out for 4 years now. So it's 2024, right? So I started in 2020. But I wasn't that serious at the beginning. I used to start quit. Like I used to hit the gym couple of weeks and then quit, do it again. But in 2022, I got serious about it. I started like getting professional guidance. I was watching videos about fundamentals like diet, nutrition, workout, how you should program your own workout plan. So since 2022, I've been doing it like not professionally, but based on professional advice. Consistently, yes.
Right.
So the person who got me into the gym is my uncle. So he just brought me to the gym. The community there just inspires you, interests you into that. Like there is a very friendly community. Like you don't do the exercise right, someone comes and teaches you. And then you teach someone. Next day you teach another guy who comes new and doesn't know how to exercise. You teach him the technique. So it's like the community there is very friendly and very helpful. So with me, my program is like I hit the gym nowadays four times a week. I do push, pull, and legs, and the last day is basically full body. Now last days I'm doing powerlifting. Actually, I'm quite serious about powerlifting. I might actually, you guys might see me in the competition soon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in March there is actually a certain international competition in Uzbekistan with powerlifting. among juniors, 14 to 19. So I'm thinking about giving it a try. One of my students, SAT students, Mr. Shokh Jahon, is actually a professional powerlifter, and he just updated me on that. So we are now like hitting the gym together. I'm just picking up some basically techniques, tips from powerlifting tips. So yeah. And for the fun fact today, guess how much I squatted?
Let me take a guess. Probably like 60 kilos.
Nope, higher.
Is it 100?
Yes, it's
You
100 kilos. Yeah, one rep with 100 kilos squatted.
That is mind blowing, guys. You have no idea how heavy 100 kilos is. I did actually squat that much once, only once, but with assistance though. It was an assisted squat where basically my trainer got behind my back and he was aiding me the entire time, making sure the weight wouldn't fall off my back.
Yeah.
Right. It's an insane amount of weight on your back. And listen, buddy, you got to make sure you got your belt on when you lift that much,
Of
right?
course. Like you can't. I always use my belt. Like once the weight exceeds 50, I'm using my belt.
Yeah. And also when, lifting heavy, something I hear a lot is you need this stability and core stiffness.
Yeah.
Right. So do you do any sort of core exercise to make sure that you got your stability and stiffness figured?
So with me, I will work on my abs and my core muscles once a week with my legs. Whenever I have a leg workout, I just work on my abs and my core. So yeah.
I see. Right. And something funny is I actually saw your uncle a few times
in the gym, right?
At the gym a few times. I bumped into him while I was working out, and it was a really strange encounter. There's a really interesting backstory. So basically, one of those days I was at the gym and doing bench presses, and at the time I was still an amateur and lifting probably like 20, 30 kilos. And bench press, that's not really a lot. And I saw a dude standing in front of a squat rack with something of a 200 kilos loaded. And I thought he was just going to do one rep. And your uncle went on to do crazy 15 reps. And then just when I thought that was it, he loaded even more weight. And then before he went back to lifting that weight, he basically sat on the ground and stared himself in the mirror, locked eyes with his reflection. That was an intense moment. That felt like a scene from a movie, and I thought that dude was out of his mind or something. I thought he thought he's some kind of an anime figure.
I mean, that's what everyone thinks. Like
when they're at the gym.
Yeah, there are some dudes there at the gym, and whenever he visits, he's like they used to say like he's just gonna do squats, bench presses, deadlifts, and he leaves. Because that's what he does. He usually goes there and does all these 3 exercises, and that's it. And when I just asked him, why don't you do some other exercises, substitutions, or why don't you do some different exercises like for arms, like curls or pull-ups, he told me that like these 3 exercises are enough for me. They can basically
the basics.
Yeah, basics. He always sticks to the basics because he says I'm not gonna be a professional bodybuilder, so I don't have to do all those isolation exercises. So I just do the basics and leave.
It just made me remember this quote by Tom Platz, father of squatting.
Yeah.
He's also known as quad father. So basically he says, why do an inferior
movement
when you got
squat, yeah.
Right?
So he basically compares leg presses with squats because a lot of people do leg presses, and there is a reason behind it. It's a bit safer, and with leg presses also you can lift way heavier. Like I see a lot of people basically leg pressing 150,
Or-
200, 250, sometimes 300,
Easy.
400. Yeah,
Yeah.
it feels easy, and it looks showy, basically. That's what he says. Like, it is showy, but bears
Yeah.
no result.
Mhm.
But with squats, all those people can bear, like, I guess, squat like 80, 70 kilos.
Yeah.
Cause, and I think there is a gravitational basically part of it. With squats, you are basically lifting weights straightly,
Mhm.
but this is not the case with leg presses. So
Yeah, there is some assistance with leg
Yeah.
presses, but squats though, it's you against gravity.
Yeah,
That's
and
you against
it's
gravity.
again
Yeah.
bit more difficult, and people hate what's difficult. That's the same with me. Like, I was not that obsessed with squats. I used to go to the gym. I was obsessed with arms, like a lot of people are. Like, I used to go and work out on my basically arms, chest slightly, and go home.
Yeah, they want to
And-
get that pump.
Yeah,
And then walk out
yeah,
the gym.
You basically are walking out
Looking
with
strong.
yeah, I mean, then once we worked out with him, and guess what? We only did squats. The entire 2 hours gym session, we were doing squats.
Mhm.
And that's what we did for the entire 2 months when we basically worked out together. After it, I got obsessed with squats. Now, whenever I go to the gym, it's a leg day or full body day, I start with squats and deadlift.
I see. I mean, I'm talking about lifting heavy. I just miss those old days. It really sucks that I'm not lifting heavy anymore because of my back injury. So my basically trainer tells me that I should stay away from heavy weights load for at least 6 months before I can back to lifting, 5-10 kilos.
Yeah, probably
I
you should.
really miss those
I mean,
days.
you should stick to that advice to get back after
Uh-huh.
6 months.
Oh, yeah.
Fully recovered. Yeah.
So I'm on rehab right now. I'm doing all rehab exercise. It's boring as hell, but as long as it gets me result, I don't mind it, right? So yeah, sometimes when you see me at the gym, I'm just standing against the wall and doing basic hip movements without any weight, and I have to do it for 20, 30 reps and 3 sets, 4 sets, and that's it. There's nothing exciting about it. So yeah, it sucks having some sort of an injury.
But
So,
it's common. It's very, very common. A lot of bodybuilders, a lot of professional powerlifters, like at some point during their basically workout, let's say life, the span, they had a back injury. Like, I closely follow Jeff Nippert on social media. I watch all of his videos. So he's bodybuilder, and he used to be a powerlifter as well. And back in, I think, 2019 or 2020, he got a back injury when he was deadlifting.
Same injury we're talking about, right?
Yeah,
like he
yeah.
slipped his disc.
Yeah, so he basically had this instant, pain. So he couldn't lift it, and he fell down. Emergency came, took him off. So there is this video where he talks about his own story that's very inspirational.
I'd love to watch that video.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
please do me a favor and share that video with me
Of course,
later.
I do. So, and then after that, he says, whenever I get back to deadlifting, like that memory comes in. So yeah, actually, like it's a bit scary to deadlift and squat because weight is heavy, and if you do something wrong, something really bad happens.
You're gonna get crushed.
And now
literally.
imagine he got crushed once, and he's back deadlifting nowadays.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And what's funny is that I didn't get this injury when I was deadlifting or squatting or doing any of those heavy movements, but rather when I was boxing. During boxing training, I was basically training with a little heavy ball, and I had to lift it and raise it above my head and slam it on the ground. So it was part of my lats exercise, like to open up my back. And it did actually open up my back. I had a little bit of restriction on my back, and it was gone instantly. But on my like 7th attempt, I guess 7th repetition, I lift the ball, and I just felt something like a thunder, like shock, go down my spine, and that was it. I couldn't lift anymore. I had to just throw in the towel instantly. I called it a day, and and I had to go and see a doctor the next day.
So what I think is you probably developed it over a period, and then that exercise just triggered the pain.
Yeah, most probably, because what my trainer tells me is that if you were to put, say, 100 people who work out through MRI, 99 of them would show herniated disc, slip disc.
Yeah.
It's just you don't feel that pain because it's not that big. It only hurts when you push yourself a little too much, a little too hard, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, and one final point I would like to go over with you is, do you think exercise has any tangible benefits in terms of your academics? Would you say exercise helps you get smarter?
Of course it does, if you take steroids. Just kidding.
No, kids. Kids out there watching, stay away from steroids, okay? And we're no professionals, okay?
I mean,
we don't know what we're talking about, okay? Stay away from steroids.
I mean, there is actually entire research about steroids, how they make you smart. Not just big, but smart. But I'm just kidding. It's not worth. It's not worth. Yeah. Of course it is. So, but like. Yeah, it does help. Working out helps, because when you work out, you basically you become energetic. You become fresh, and when you're fresh, energetic, you overcome tiredness. Like last time when I was hitting the gym, it was at night. My brother is calling, "Are we going to the gym?" And I said, like, I want to sleep. Well, I'm tired. And he said, let's go. And then he basically persuaded me. He took me to the gym, and guess what? After the session, 2 hours of hard work, I should be more tired, right?
Yeah, logically, you would expect someone
but
drained.
I got energetic, so we spent 2 more hours basically there. So so it keeps you up, and when it keeps you up, you can basically study more, and also it got some health benefits for you. Even I think the famous magician Ibn Sina said that if you got a healthy body, you will get a healthy spirit. I think in that context, spirit means mind.
Right. I could not agree more. Like, I actually attribute a lot of the focus and the mental clarity I have to doing physical exercise. Like, if it weren't for physical exercise, my daily dose of physical exercise, I'd feel sluggish. I'd feel basically like a sack of potatoes. I wouldn't feel like getting anything done. It's just people have no idea how much benefit exercise,
and there is also a sense of satisfaction you get, right, before just checking out. You get this sense of satisfaction after the gym session, and that basically turns into a good mood during the day, and that helps.
For sure. Like, I know a lot of students out there trying to gain that little edge, a mental edge, through other substitutions like caffeine, right? They're highly caffeinated. They're drinking energy drinks or overdosed on coffee.
But it got side effects.
Right. All those substitutions, all those supplements come with a lot of side effects. Like, you're taking on huge risk. And why do it when you got this practically any harm-free and danger-free
natural
option,
basically.
Natural alternative, right? So exercise, and you don't really have to go to the gym to get that. Of course. You can certainly do some home workout,
push-ups,
workout,
sit-ups,
anything. And then sometimes I actually do a little bit of exercise when I'm teaching. Like, I'm just walking around the room, and sometimes just do dips. Like when you got 2 desks sitting close next to each other, you can do dips. You just get creative with what you have. And sometimes when
But guess what students think about it? Students.
Come again?
Guess what students think about it?
They probably think I'm out of my mind.
But that's what they think. I was your student.
I used to think I was crazy.
Not me. My group mates used to tell me like, is he kind of showing off that he can do dips, like 15 dips? You literally would walk around the room, ask the questions, like speaking questions, and then do some dips.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. And squatting.
Yeah.
With some imaginary weight I didn't have on my back, and then or you can, like, when you can actually get a real kind of a mental boost by doing this exercise sitting. There's this neck stretch. So basically you should stretch your necks by spinning your head around, right? Just sitting. What it does is it relaxes the muscles around your neck and lets more oxygen travel to your brain. And when there's more oxygen, you think better, you think faster, and
higher basically mental performance.
Right. Actually, a lot of the sluggishness that students experience in the classroom comes from sitting a lot. Yeah. Right. That's something they don't realize. They feel like they wonder what's happening to them. They read a question or a passage or a text or listening to something, but their mind doesn't really register.
Yeah.
And they think there's something wrong with them, when in fact it's just their body is not getting that stimulation. Yeah. Right. So just sitting and spinning your head and stretching your necks gets so much. It gets your juices flowing, basically, and then gets you that mental sharpness you need to nail your studies and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, I think it boils down to our origins, right? In the past, like millions of years ago, people were not sitting for that long. They were
millions of years ago. Come on, buddy. It's probably
a couple of million years ago.
Not millions. Well, probably like 10,000, 20,000.
Like even two basically centuries ago, people were mostly doing like farming, so they were active, physically active. And I think for that reason, there were almost no gyms. But now we are not as physically active as our basically grandparents used to be. Yeah. So now we definitely have to, I would say, complement it with gyms.
Yeah, for sure. We're now cooped up in our little offices and rooms and spending all this time on our screen, basically sedentary, not doing any exercise. Yeah. And that all of these things we do defy our physiology.
Yeah.
That put us at great risk of getting all these different physical problems, right?
Yeah.
So, and people don't realize that being smart is not just about reading a bunch of textbooks and reciting them.
You should strike the balance.
Yeah.
You should strike
absolutely.
the balance.
You need the balance. You need to keep a balance between
mental and physical activities. Should be the balance.
Yeah, for sure. All right. I feel like we're almost there. We hit that 1 hour milestone, and today's episode was very productive. I feel like we went over a lot of useful, interesting topics, right? And it was super fun having you on the show today. Are there any final comments you'd like to make before we wrap it up?
I mean, I'm very amazed about this podcast project, actually, because like we get to share a lot of useful ideas. Like not only one person, you are having different guests, like each episode. So a lot of personal opinions, a lot of useful basically tips, advice, experiences they are getting shared, and that's a great opportunity for the audience. They're just listening to it and basically filtering out like what do we say and getting what they need, right? Yeah
And I'm really glad you are part of that community now, and providing serving your community and coming on the show today and sharing with us all these useful insights you gained over the years. So yeah, I'm super appreciative.
I mean, that's responsibility. You remember once you said the teacher is a transmitter.
Messenger.
Messenger basically. Messenger. So basically, you don't basically learn it and store it. You gotta share it. This is the purpose.
Yeah. That's so true. Knowledge has no value if it's not shared.
Yeah,
it's for sharing. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. It was a lot of fun talking to Mr. Parviz today, and that's about it. Now, if you liked the episode, please leave us some comments in the comment section below. Hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. I'm your host, Muhammad Ali again, and thanks for watching. Peace.